Gabe Colombo here, talking to you from the studio within my RV. As you can see, the decorations behind me was not done by me. It was done by my lovely wife. She does a good job of decorating this place. I like it a lot. This video is to help you and give you tips whether you've hooked up a tow bar before or never done it before. This is here to help you. Because why? We learn what we usually learn from things we did wrong, which is this guy. I didn't know anything about hooking up a tow bar. I was completely no knowledge about what to do. I know I went through the process. I made mistakes. Finally, I decided to come up with a list. And I go through this list every single time to hook up the tow bar onto the RV. Once I do that, I go and I end. When it's time to disengage the tow bar from the car, I go in reverse order. Wherever I ended in, I start with, and I end at the other end where I started. So if you look at these two lists, you can see the difference. This is really important so you don't have any problems. Give you some story here about some people that have problems. Now this wasn't me. I know you're thinking it was, but it wasn't. I saw this guy pulled up with a Class A. He had a tow bar for a car. He disengaged the tow bar. Well, it was on a slight incline, and it was on a driveway at an RV park. As soon as he disconnected it, that car went rolling back. And it went kind of slow. Then it turned right down a grass hill towards a bunch of tents and kids. And thank goodness it didn't hit anyone. When it got to the bottom of the hill, it landed at a pond and went completely under. They had to bring scuba divers in so they could pull it out of the pond. That was a bad mistake. The other thing that happened to me before I just came up with this list of what to do is I didn't put my car brake on or put it in park. It was a standard shift, so I didn't put the brake on. I went up to disengage the tow bar, and I pushed this plunger. And when I did that, the car came towards me, and I was trying to hold it back so it didn't run into anything into the RV. And I'm yelling, "Help, help," for my lovely wife, who came around and pulled the brake and helped me out. But I was sweating bullets there for a minute. So that was a bad mistake. Don't do that one. That is a bad one. So I'm going to show you the process of what I do when I hook up. And remember, when you disengage it, you do the opposite. And the list tells you that. So I hope this helps you. Blue ox when it's hooked up, the tow bar. When you let it down to hook it up, that's what it looks like. You got to spread it apart so it can hook up to the car. Here's the accessories I put in a backpack to keep them contained. The cables, which go on the car and the RV, the breakaway cord, the logger hitch, which goes in the car, the electric cord, which goes between the RV and the car, and the electric air hose goes between the car and the RV. This is where the cables hook up. The loggers go in these two holes in the car. That's a breakaway cable. And that's where the air hose gets hooked up, or electric gets hooked up. And that's where the air hose gets hooked up. That's what it looks like when I stow it. And that is important to have that bungee cord. That logger hitch goes into your car, and that little pull thing's what you pull to pull it out. So you stick it in, and you twist it, and it's locked in. And if you want to take it out, you pull that little switch, do the same thing, comes right out. So we got to do the other side. We put the other side in, we make sure it's good to go. We separate the blue ox, and we do that so we can hook it up. But we got to take out the pin in both ends of the blue ox tow bar. And you can see the pin there at the end. Mine's a locking pin, which means I have to use a key to get it out. You can use this kind, but good luck if you do that one. I don't think that'll work too good for you. What I use is a key on this. You make sure it's up always, which tells you on both sides when you hook it up to your car. The important thing of having a locking pin is real simple. You don't want someone to steal your car or your blue ox, so it's important to have this on there. So we're going to hook this thing up. Of course, we got to take the pin out of both sides of the blue ox. If you push that plunger down, it extends it. If you don't, it's hard to do. It's important to do that. And when you're going to disengage it, you push that to release the pressure on the tow bar. Because once it goes out, it stays out strong and it won't run into your car. So you have to push that to release it. And you also have to push to pull it out to hook it up to your car. Once you get both pins in and mine are locked in, then I'm good to go. Bam, I'm going down the road. Not quite. I got to hook up the rest of this stuff. Here we go. I got to grab these two cables right here, and I got to hook one up to the car and one up to the RV. That's where it goes on the RV. See, I got a locking pin for the blue ox again. So they ain't stealing my blue ox. They ain't happening to me. That's why I got that on there. So I hook up the cables, and I'll show you how that's done. It's real simple. You put one on one side, one on the other. It looks hard, but it ain't. It's that simple. You put it on, bada bing, bada bong, you're done. I usually wear gloves when I do this, but so you can see what I'm doing, I'm not wearing gloves. That's a breaker cable. It doesn't do a whole lot except if it comes disengaged from your car, it'll put the brakes on your car, which would a good thing for not hurting nobody, but be a bad thing if it ever happened. Hopefully it never happens to me. You hook it on this part onto the car. I use this carabiner that I put on both sides to hook to the car and to the RV. Now it's time to do the electric and air hose. This is what it looks like on the RV. The car with the same thing. We got the air hose, the electric, and the breakaway. Here's the electric cord. One's for the RV and one's for the car. They're different. The one for the car, you flip this up. It's a smaller plug than the one that goes in the RV. So they're easy to tell apart. And that's the one for the RV. Now, when you look at the plug on it, one side's got a round thing, one thing doesn't. The round part goes on the bottom, and this part goes straight into the plug. It plugs in real easy. You just push in. You got to make sure it's fully seated, or you won't have good power. And the same thing's true for the car. The round part goes on the bottom, it goes straight in. You got to make sure it's fully seated so you got power in both, your brakes and your turn signals. That's what this is for. This is the air hose. We're going to hook this up. This ain't a big deal, but you got to pay attention to what you're doing. One's for the car, one's for the RV. They're two different things. So what we do here is you can see the difference here. What we're going to do here is real simple. You go to you pull this protective cover part that's over top of the air hose connector on the car. There's also, and I put it in a black case to protect it so I don't lose this thing, because that happened to me once. And then I always put it back on when I'm done. So I'm putting it away because I'm getting ready to what? Hook up the air hose. So I pull this off of the part on the RV where the air hose goes, and I put it back on when I'm done. That way rocks don't get in there or anything like that, or any dirt. Now it's time to push this in. Push it in, bada bing, bada bong, you're done. So you push in to get it out. You push it in like that, it come right out. And bam. So push in, bam, you're out. All right, now we're going to push it back in. Pushing it back in, bam, we're in. Now we're going to go over, and you got to push this back, or it's not going to go on to the car at all. It's got to connect on there. So you pull it back, you stick it in, and you make sure it's nice and locked, because if it's not, that is going to be a problem. See, I pull on it, make sure it's connected. That's going to activate the brakes on your car. The air from the RV will activate the brakes in your car. And that's what it looks like when you're done. There it is. Bam. That's what it looks like when you hook it up. Now, the next thing we got to do is we got to get our car ready to roll now that it's hooked up. We got to put it in neutral and go whatever processes our manufacturer tells us we got to do with our car. So after we do all that, my wife and I, we check out the lights. She turns on the flashers and the turn signals and the brakes, and I check that it's on, that's happened to the back of the RV and to the towed vehicle, which is our SUV. After that's all done, I tell her to move the car about 3 feet to make sure the wheels are turned okay, there's no problem. Once we do with that, bada bing, bada bong, it's time to go down the road. Now, when I'm all done with the tow bar, and I put it up in the air and I turn it, you can turn it either right or left. I turn mine to the left, and I put the cover on it. I always put a bungee cord on it. I was taught that by Newmar at their factory. They said that the tow bar can come up and then hit the ground and cause damage to it. So I put that bungee cord not to keep the cover on, to keep that tow bar from flying up and hitting the ground and causing a problem. So that's the end of my video. I hope it's helpful, and I'll see you when I see you.